Hey lovely people, welcome back once again to another exciting episode of Stitches Biz Collection. I'm Miss Stitches. In this video, I'm going to share with you how to make this colorful and easy handmade beaded bag. All occasions. Before we start, please make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button. Let's get started. Materials needed. So to start, you cut your fish line. You make sure it's long enough. Then you cut it off. You are using 0.70 mm. Then you pick 4 beads. You pick all 4 beads on one side of the fish line. Being is the left side or the right side. And then you cross with the 4th bead using the other side of the fish line, using any side of the fish line. And then you pull it out. Then you have your first ring. Then you still pick 3 beads. Fix one on the left fish line, fix one on the right fish line. And then you cross with the 3rd bead using both fish lines. You still have to hold the end of the fish line and then you pull it out. Then you have your 2nd ring. Then you pick 3 beads again, fix one on the left fish line, fix one on the right fish line. Cross with the 3rd bead using both fish lines. Then you pull it out. You have your 3rd ring done. So you are going to continue weaving about 23 times. So we have 22 now, and before you get to the 23rd part on this fish line, you pick 3 beads. Fix all 3 beads on that side of the fish line. So on the side you want to turn with, that is where you fix the 3 beads. Then you cross with the last bead or the 3rd bead using the right fish line. And then you have your fish line turn this way so you can weave to the other end. So on this fish line, you still pick 3 beads. Fix all 3 beads on that side. So that's my left fish line. Fix all 3 beads on the left fish line. Then you cross with the 3rd bead using the right fish line. You pull it out and then you have your fish line turned completely. Then with the right fish line, you go through the next. You pick 2 beads, fix on the left fish line again, cross with the 2nd bead using the right fish line. You pull it out and then with the right fish line, go through the next bead. Then you go on and weave with the same method. By picking 2 beads, you cross with the 2nd bead, then you move on with to the next side. Then you weave till you get to the last end. So when you get to the last end, with the right fish line, go through the last bead. Then on that same fish line, you pick 2 beads and fix it. Or you fix all 2 beads on that side. Then you cross with the 2nd bead using the other fish line. Then this is what you should have. You have your fish line turned again for you to weave to the other end. So on this fish line, still fix 3 beads on that side and then you cross with the 3rd bead using the right fish line. You pull it out, you have the fish line turn completely. Then with the right fish line, you go through the next 2 beads. Fix 2 beads on the left fish line again. Then you weave on. So with the same method, you are going to weave until you get to the last end again. So you weave till the last but 1 bead. So when you get to the last but 1 bead on this fish line, you fix 2 beads on that side and then you cross with the 2nd bead using the other fish line, crossing with the other fish line. Then you have a 10. So you are going to continue weaving until you get to the last end and then you weave it till it becomes bigger. So I have it done, and it is about 9 steps. So I'm okay with the size of it. So 1, 2, you fold that side. Then on the other side as well, 1, 2, you fold that side as well. Now we are about to weave the base for the bag. So you should have 15 in the middle, while the sides you have 2 each on both sides. So with the new fish line, you turn any side, then you go through the last 2 beads here. Then you pull your fish line out. Then you pick 2 beads. Fix on the left side of the fish line, fix all 2 beads. Then you cross with the second bead using the right fish line. So as I always say, I love fixing the beads, or I feel comfortable fixing the beads on my left fish line. That is why I always do that. So with the right fish line, go through the next bead. Pick 2 beads, fix on the left fish line again, cross with the second bead using the right fish line. Pull it out. Then with the right fish line, go through the next bead. Fix 2 beads on the left fish line again, pull it out. Then you weave till you get to the last end. So when you get to the last end, you go through the next 2 beads with the right fish line. Then you pick 1 bead, you fix and then cross with both sides of the fish line. And then with the right fish line, go through the next bead. You fix 2 beads on the left fish line again, cross with the second bead. And then with the right fish line, go through the next bead. Then you weave on with the same method. So it's the same method we are using here. If you get it the first time, you are good to weave on. So you are going to weave till you get to the last end. So we have it now. Then when you get to the last end also, with the right fish line, go through the next 2 beads. And then you cross both sides with 1 bead. Then you can pass your excess fish lines through to lock it up. So we are done with one side, and that's what you should get. So I made the other side offline, and it's the same size, the same colors, the same length, the same height, and we're about to join them together. So with a new fish line, you go through the first bead on one side of the bag, you pull it out, and then with that same side, so the side on the top, you fix 1 bead. And then with that same fish line, you go through the first bead on the second side or on the other side of the bag as well. So you should have the fish line coming out of the first bead on both sides. Then you pick 1 bead and then you cross with both fish lines. You make sure you have the ends, pull it out. Then with the right fish line, go through the next bead. Then with the left fish line, go through the next 1 bead as well. Then you pick 1 bead and then you cross with both fish lines. You have to pull the fish lines out well. Then with the right fish line, go through the next bead. With the left fish line, go through the next bead as well. Then you still go on and pick 1 bead and then you cross with both fish lines. You pull it out, so you weave on with the same method. So this is what you should get. If you are doing it right, you should have the sides joining together without it being visible to others. So you are going to continue weaving till you get to the last end of it. So So when you get to the last end, you have the fish line coming out of 2 beads. Then you pick 1 bead, and then you cross with both sides. Then you pass the excess fish lines through, and this is what you should get. Should I say a rectangle shape? Or yeah, a rectangle shape. So we are going to make a cover for it. So with a new fish line, you go through this first bead. So you can start from any side, and then you pick 3 beads, fix on the left fish line, fix all 3 beads on the left fish line. Then you cross with the 3rd bead using the right fish line. You make sure you have the ends of the fish line, pull it out. Then with the right fish line, you go through the next 1 bead. Pick 2 beads, fix on the left fish line again, pull it, cross with the right fish line, pull it out. And then with the right fish line, you go through the next bead as well. So it's the same method we are using for this whole bag. We are not changing any method, it's the same method we are using for it. So when you get to the last end, you still go through the next 1 bead. Then on this fish line, you fix 2 beads. Then you cross with the 2nd bead. You pull it out. And this is what you should be getting. You should see one side becoming longer than the other. Then you are going to continue weaving till you have the length you want. So that is about 11 steps for the cover. Okay, so before the 11th row on this fish line, you fix 2 beads. Then with that same fish line, you go through this bead, and then you pass the fish line through to the last but 1 bead here, to the last but 1 bead, and this is what you should get. Then you still weave on from that end to the last but 1 bead on the other side as well. And then when you get to the last but 1 bead again on this fish line, you fix 2 beads. Then with that same fish line, you go through this bead, then you pull it out. Now you pass the excess fish line through to lock it up. So we are done with the cover, and this is what you should get. So as I said earlier, that is about 11. So when you count it, you should get 11 steps. So you skip this first bead here, and then 1 fold that side. So you skip the first 1 bead, then with the next bead, that is where you fold. So this is what you should get. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you fold from the 5th bead also. So the cover should be according to the top side of the bag, so the length, and that is 5 beads. So we are going to fix the handle for the bag. So we are going to fix it on this side. So on the middle bead, we have 5 on each side. So on the middle bead, which is the 3rd bead from the left, the 3rd bead from the right, to the 3rd bead as well. So with a new fish line, you go through this bead. So on the 3rd bead, you still count 3 downwards. And then on this fish line, you fix 3 beads. Then you cross with the 3rd bead using the right fish line. You pull it out. Then with the right fish line, you go through the next 1 bead here. Then you pick 2 beads, fix on the left fish line, you cross with the second bead using the right fish line, you pull it out. Then with the same right fish line, you go through the pink bead here. Then on this side of the fish line, you fix 2 beads on that side, then you cross so we can have the fish line 10. Then this is what you should get. Then on this fish line, then you fix 3 beads, then you cross with the third bead using the right fish line. Then you have the bead completely turned. Then with the right fish line, go through the next bead, fix 2 beads on the left fish line again, you cross with the second bead using the right fish line, pull it out. Then with the right fish line, go through the next bead again, then fix 2 beads, you cross with the second bead using the right fish line. Then this time with the right fish line, you go through the next 2 beads. Okay, so 1, 2, which is the cream or gold bead there. Then you pick 1 bead, then you cross with both sides of the fish line. Then with the right fish line, go through the next 1 bead. With the left fish line, go through the next 1 bead as well. And then you pick 1 bead, then you cross with both sides of the fish line. Then with the left fish line, go through the next 1 bead again. With the right fish line, go through the next 1 bead again, pick 1 bead, and then you cross with it. Then you do the same to the last part as well. Then you pick 1 bead, then you cross with it. So now let me say we have the base or the foundation of the handle done, and then now we are going to weave around these 4 sides here. So you pick 3 beads, fix on the left fish line, then you cross with the third bead using the right fish line, you pull it out, and then with the right fish line, go through this blue bead here. So this is what you should get. Then you pick 2 beads, fix on the left side of the fish line, you cross with the second bead using the right fish line. Then with the right fish line, go through the next bead here as well. Then you pick 2 beads, fix on the left fish line again, cross with the second bead. Then this time with the right fish line, go through the next 2 beads here. Then you pick 1 bead, then you cross with both sides of the fish line. So this is what you should get. They are going to continue weaving around these 4 poles, or this 4, let's take it as a pole. So you weave around that side. So you fix 3 beads, and then 2 beads, and then 2 beads again, and then 1 bead. So like we are making a handle. I have a video of how to make the beaded bag handle, so if this seems faster for you, you can watch that video to get everything clear. So you are going to weave until you can join it to the other side as well. So finally, I have the length of the handle I want, and if it's too short for you, please feel free to add more to it. And now I'm going to join it to the other side with the same method. So on this fish line, you pick 3 beads, then you cross with the third bead, then with the right fish line, go through the next bead as well, fix 2 beads on the left fish line, cross with the second bead, then with the right fish line, go through the next bead. So you need to pay attention to this side. So on this fish line, go through this bead, you pass through that bead, or you go through that bead, and then which is the first bead, and then you pick 1 bead, then you cross with it. So this is what you should get. Then with this fish line, go through the next 2 beads, and then you pick 1 bead, then you cross with both sides of the fish lines. Then with this fish line, you go through this black bead here, you go through the next bead here, and then you pick 2 beads, fix on the left fish line, you cross with the second bead, and then with the right fish line, go through this bead again, then you fix 2 beads on the left fish line again, then cross with the second bead. Then with the right fish line, go through the last bead here, and then fix 2 beads, you cross with the second bead as well. So it's the same method we are using here. Then you go through the next bead here, the next bead here, then you pick 2 beads, cross, then you go through this bead again. So you are weaving till you join it to the other end of the handle. So the same method as we did for the other side, that's the same thing we are doing here. Then when you get to the last end, you go through the next 2 beads, you pick 1 bead and then you cross with it. Then with this fish line, you go through 1, 2, the next 2 beads here, then you join, or you do the finishing here. Then with this fish line, you pass it through the next 3 beads to the black bead here. So the both fish lines should come out of this black bead here. So we have it secured, yeah. Then we are done with our handle. So we are done attaching the handle, and then you need to pass your excess fish lines through. Please, you need to pass it through very well, because the handle holds the pressure of the bag. So you have to take your time and pass it through very well. So this is what you should get after you are done passing the fish lines through the handle. And this is your cute beaded bag. So you can attach this magnetic lock, magnetic flip, or magnetic press, like anyhow you call it. So you just attach it to the bag to make sure your bag is locked and to make the bag nice. So there we go. I'll drop a video of how to attach the magnetic lock and then your tag, your bag tags or your cloth tags here to your beaded bags very soon. So please watch out for it. So we are done with our beaded bag. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you want to see more and more of my tutorials, make sure you do well to comment and share as well. Follow me on Instagram and on Facebook. Subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so you'll be notified anytime I upload a video. Thank you. See you in my next video. Have a nice day and bye.